Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with our gun. So with the ability to go and transfer all of our Reaper's marks to other characters via this shared bank ability, we can go and copy a ton of them over to the preview server. So I had 115, so we can make our way to the Reaper's vendor here and we can literally go and purchase all of the rewards and see if any of them can make us a profit. I'll also go over, let's say, the legendary mounts and the legendary companions and let you guys know if I deem any of them worth it. So we can go and buy them there. They will cost you 30 Reaper's marks for the legendary packs. That's 30 days of grinding. Then 25 for the epic collar pack, and then you can see it's just one for the rest of the following. Unfortunately, that's only one shard of empowerment for one Reaper's mark. That's a bit silly. Anyway, you can go and get these greater shards as well, but that's still only one for one, and unfortunately they are also account bound, as we can see there. Perhaps these preservation wards are not once we go and open the pack. Then there's also these trade bars, which we can obtain a whole load of them, one of these marks for 25 Terminal trade bars. Then we do have these upgrade tokens. Unfortunately, again, the pack is account bound. As for the titles, well, you're simply just going to have to complete the Reaper's challenge a amount of times. You can see 50 for the legendary one, and those will be bound to the character at which you achieve that on. So if you want to achieve these titles, you ideally do all of your Reaper's challenges on just one character. So with that, I don't think I'll even bother with these genie gifts. As you can see, they are account bound, but who's going to want genie gifts? My oh my, they're dirt cheap, dropping all over the place from those lock boxes. So we have all of these rewards here, and we can see the legendary packs are indeed account bound. However, if we go and claim these mounts, perhaps they are not. Now first I'll go over each of them and name the ones I deem are actually worth using. I wouldn't pick up this Deep Crow, this Celestial Stag, this Black Ice Horse, the Imperial Rage Drake, nor the Emperor Beetle. However, the Commander T-Rex can be pretty decent with its combat power there, making it so that targets will take increased damage. It's an AoE effect, so it'll apply on all enemies around. Then the Swarm is another good one. I would just skip over the Tenebrous. It does have a buff power, but again, that's only personal, and you're better off with something that's going to give you a lot more damage than that. Let's skip over the Whirlwind. The Armored Griffin you could use if you need that extra survivability, decreasing the amount of damage targets deal. Then you have the legendary Giant Toad. It has its Tongue Lash. That's 3000 magnitude on Mythic. That's your maximum amount of single target combat power that you can get from mounts. That's very good. Then the Armored Bullet, just decreasing the amount of damage targets deal. And then you also have your Rune-clad Manticore, which you could pick up for the Runic Aura, just to buff allies' power and defense. Usually not such a big deal. Generally, people have capped power, but it can be a help if people work their builds around it. Then you have the Swift Golden Lion with its Oral Armament, giving people that 30% of their HP in shield, and also giving those stacks of Radiant Weapon. Only works if you have Stalwart Golden Lion summoned, unfortunately. And then the rest of these here are not ones I would bother with. You could pick the legendary Flying Carpet, but don't expect it to deal a lot of damage. It says 1000 magnitude, but I found it does a lot less than that. It does pull enemies together, which is very neat. And that's it. None of the other companions I would really worry about, but you can of course try and get one that has a benefit to a certain stat you might need as its equip power. So if we go and claim one of these mounts, we can see unfortunately it's still bound to your account. No way you're going to be selling this, so it's for personal use only. With the companions, again here, the Alpha Compy is very good for a healer to use as its equip power and utility. Then we have the Green Slime, very good for a defensive slot for defensibility and like a tank. Then you have your Tamed Velociraptor, very good for giving those stacks of that extra power when you're in a party with other people also using it. Your Phase Spider is very good in your defensive slot, giving that crit chance and that combat advantage for the extra overall damage bonus. Your Batiri, very good for that extra damage against bosses. As for using any of these summoned, unfortunately I wouldn't bother with it. Again, if we claim this, it is still account bound. So again, you won't be selling this. It's purely for personal use. Then with these epic colors, you can choose the ones you need for your class, extra damage or extra utility buffs. But if we claim one of these, unfortunately, again, they are bound to your account. However, it's still a very nice place to obtain these colors outside of just the Zen market. You could obtain them from those premium rewards in like skirmishes and dungeons, but let's be real, the drop rate on those was abysmal and they drop in like grey rarity. Your genie gifts, you can claim the pack, you'll get 10 of them there and they're still bound to your account. Same with that greater shard of empowerment. These preservation wards, however, if we go and open it, we get 3 pres wards, and unfortunately still they are bound to our account. No selling those. We have our companion and mount upgrade tokens. If we just claim these, you'll obtain those tokens in your inventory, but there's no way you can trade them off your account. Still nothing for making profit. But lastly, we have terminal trade bars. Here we can obtain 25 terminal trade bars per Reaper's Mark. Each terminal trade bar is at least 2,000 astral diamonds worth. We can go and spend those terminal trade bars in the trade bar store here. There's so many different items. Ideally, what you do is then go and purchase something that will sell and that you can make profit off. And that's literally the only way you can make profit off these Reaper's Marks. Purchasing these terminal trade bars. 1 mark for 25 of them. In my opinion, that's a pretty decent deal. And you can even go and spend those trade bars then, 2 of them for an upgrade token when we have the discount. And that's very near around the corner. We can see in the calendar here, on November the 11th, we get our trade bar discount for a week. Make sure to save your trade bars for then. You could go and purchase a bunch of those upgrade tokens fairly cheaply just with those trade bars. Otherwise, of course, that's up to you then what you want to buy. I highly recommend looking for yourself on the auction house at what prices they are at, and then you can buy them. You can also save up trade bars for insignias, but again, that's 1 purple insignia for 100 paid trade bars. That is the value of 4 marks, and to convert that, you only get 50 insignia powder, and you need, as we go to refine it, 500 to upgrade it to legendary, and then to get it to mythic, you're going to need that 2,500. So that's not really a viable option, but I guess it's there if you want to do so, and you can always again save for the discount and that 80 trade bars for a purple insignia. So with that said, that's pretty much the only way you can make profit off these Reaper Marks. Purchasing trade bars and selling things that you buy with them. Of course, you could make a decent amount of personal progress off these Reaper Marks as well. But let's be real, most people who are on this 50,000 item level who are able to queue up for this generally don't need much more upgrading anymore. Of course, there are those collars, you might not even have them yet, and this is definitely a good way to purchase them rather than getting them for the Zen or for that huge amount of astral diamonds. So again, I'd like to give a massive thank you to all of my channel members for helping me keep my channel going. And if I presented this well, consider leaving the video a like, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.